Hi guys, so in this lecture we are going to configure our DNS server. For that we need to open the server manager, and what we are going to do is we'll go to tools and we would select DNS. And after opening this DNS manager we will go to reverse lookup zone. We would right click on it and we will create a new zone. We will hit on next, and then we would provide a network ID which is the 3 octets of our IP address. So that would be 192.168.10. Now we'll right click on the zone which we have created and we would create a new pointer record. So we will go to browse, we will click on Windows Server, and then we'll go to ufindi.local, and then we would select the last option, then we'll click on OK. So after configuring the DNS server, what we are going to do is we are going to completely configure our DHCP server. So what does a DHCP server does? So DHCP server provides IP address to its client machine and it is dynamically allocated. Okay, so before configuring the DHCP server, we need to know that what does the DHCP server does. What are its roles? So a DHCP server maintains a pool of IP addresses and leases an address to any DHCP enabled device, be it a PC or laptop, and it is dynamic in nature. Now to configure our DHCP server, we are going to tools and then we'll select DHCP. Now we would expand this and we would make sure that the IPv4 icon is green. So what we are going to do is we would click on authorize so that the IPv4 becomes green. So we will refresh this page. We would again open the DHCP, and here you can see that the IPv4 is now green. So we can proceed further. Now what we are going to do is we will right click on IPv4 and we would add a new scope. So we will click on next. Now we would be naming our scope as UFE scope. Now we are going to provide a pool of addresses which would be allotted to a number of devices. For example, in this case, I would be allotting 192.168.10.100 to, let's say, 192.168.10.200 or 150. Now we will click on next. We don't need to add this, so we would simply skip it. Now we would add the lease time. So what is a lease time? It is a duration for which a IP address is allotted to a particular device. So after the lease time is over, the device would be automatically disconnected from the server and it would uh, be allotted a new IP address. So let's keep it as 8 days or 1 day. Now we would simply click on next. So now we would provide our default gateway, which is our router address. So that would be 192.168.10.1. Now we would add it and we'll click on next. We will click on next. We will skip this and we will click on finish. Okay, so now let's check our address pool that we have just created. So here, as you can see, that we have the 50 IP address which we have allotted to our DHCP. Now we would go to Active Directory users and computers, and there we are going to add a user. So we will expand this ufindi.local and we would right click on the users and we will go to new and we would add a new user. So now we would just simply add the credentials and we would enter the password. So here a new user is added. Now we would verify that our DHCP is working by implementing the DHCP addresses in our client machines. So in the next video, we would learn how we would install a client machine and how the client machine takes up an address from the address pool.